everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I'm collaborating with scrapbook.com and sharing a fun theme park page that I created for today's scrapbook.com Bat Parade. You can view all of the Bat Parade projects on scrapbook.com's social media platforms. These new bat dies are going to be perfect for your fall projects and home decorations. I'm going to use them to record some memories of the Haunted Mansion using a few magical papers and stickers. I'm also going to use this sweet little ghost stencil on my page to match the theme of the layout. During the video, I will also be pulling in some other elements from my collection to add to this page, and I'll put those in the list in the description below. Our vacation album is 8.5 by 11, so I've cut down some black and white cardstock and I'm layering these onto the page with some spiderweb cuts and my photos. I cut the spider webs with my Cricut, but you could use a die or a stamp or a stencil instead. I want to bring in a little Mickey Mouse head to the layout to help set the theme, so I'm going to cut this image out from a cut apart page. Cut-apart pages like this are usually designed for those who are pocket page scrapbookers. Most companies have a printout on the back of a pattern in 3x4 or 4x6 so that you can use them in your pocket albums. I'm not much of a pocket scrapbooker, so I usually end up cutting mine apart and using the elements on my cards and scrapbook pages. I do like the look of that spider web next to the photo, but I prefer the one at the top to stand out a little bit more in the background with some texture. So I'm going to stitch this pattern instead of using the Cricut cut. To do this, I'm going to trace this pattern with a die piercing tool to make some stitching marks. I'm using a little mint tape to help me hold this die cut in place as I add the piercings. I'm going to stitch this by hand, but for those of you who do well with a sewing machine, you could also create it with that. If you're not a fan of stitching, you could use a die cut or a stencil or a stamp instead. Scrapbook.com has a lot of spiderweb options, and I'll add a link to those in the description below. Before I sit down and start stitching, I'm going to take some time to add some stenciling to my project so that paste can dry while I'm hand stitching. I'm going to use this little ghost stencil with some light and fluffy modeling paste to create a background on one of my photo mats. This is going to give the look of pattern paper with some texture and dimension. I recently used this ghost stencil on a cute little Halloween card, and I posted the instructions to that on TikTok and Instagram. Off camera, I did stitch that web onto white cardstock. This did take a little bit of time, but it was worth it. I just sat down with a cup of coffee, turned on my favorite show, and added all of the stitching. I love the way this looks, and it creates some great texture on the page. I did back this layout in some black cardstock, which I sanded on the edges. And now I'm going to add the photo, the spider web, and the mouse head to the page. Originally, I was going to angle those mats behind the photo, but I want more of that ghost stenciling to show through, so I'm going to position these a little bit differently. This layout is going to have a bit of a worn vintage feel, so I'm going to be distressing a few items with a sanding block. Often, many of your stickers have a white core, and so do your papers and cut-apart pages. So I'm going to take advantage of that by using a sanding block on that little mouse head I cut out. This is going to give it kind of a scratched-up look, which is going to fit the theme of the layout. Now I'm going to bring in a title for this page. I'm going to have my title say Magical Haunts, and I'm using a sticker from the theme park collection with some letter stickers from scrapbook.com. I am going to sand that magical sticker so that it matches the other elements on the page, and then I'm going to place it in the upper corner with a few little flags behind it. Before I place the word haunts down, I do want to add a little spider web here in the corner. And while I have the stamp out, I'm going to add one to the lower right corner as well. This stamp is a newer addition to the scrapbook.com shop and has some great little images on it. I'm going to use the letters to create the words haunt, and then I'm going to add a little ghosty sticker here to make it look like he's holding the wand in that magical sticker I added to the title. To bring in some more of that color from the flags above, I'm going to add a stack of books with a skull and a raven and a bottle of hemlock over the top. I do like adding items in odd numbers, so I'm going to bring in a third sticker with that orange color to my page, and this is Fortune Teller, which if you've gone on the ride, you know that there is a glowing ball with a gypsy inside. I'm going to use this sticker to mark where my journaling card is hidden behind the photo. Now I'm going to bring in those fun little bats. I cut these using 3 of the bat dies from this set. This time of year, most people want to use these for Halloween projects, but I decided to show you how to use them for your non-holiday scrapbook pages. I'm laying these out on the right side of the page, and then I'm going to add a fun little element to them. Yes, I am adding mouse heads to these bats. These were cut using circle shapes on my Cricut machine, which I welded together. But you could easily recreate this look with some circle punches, dies, or stickers you own. These are just too stinking cute and bring that magical feel to the page. Now, if you would like to know how I created these little mouse heads in Cricut Design Space, go ahead and leave me a comment below. While you're at it, I would love if you tapped that subscribe button and let me know that you are a new subscriber. The last item I'm going to add is a sticker at the base of the page that says "Never Grow Up." This is from one of the theme park collections, but I feel like this font is a great match to the page and it gives a nice grounding point at the base of the design. Here is that finished layout I created to record a memory from our trip. The elements on the page are not your typical theme park elements, but they match the mood of the photos. Adding whimsical elements like wand-wielding ghosts, little flags, and mouse-headed bats brings some fun to this design and helps to tell the story. I encourage you to head over to the scrapbook.com gallery and check out all of the great projects created with those bat dies, or visit the scrapbook.com bat parade on Instagram and Facebook. If you are one who likes to pin projects to inspiration boards, I will be placing these photos in the scrapbook.com gallery and on my website for you to save. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you were inspired to try something new. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies listed below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.